was 18, she was 16. He had to marry to know he went home and starved himself to death and died.
John Allen Lane. Grandfather.
I'm on you, little boy. You got a little brother, don't you?
No, I do. I got a big brother. I got a big brother.
Ray lives in Florida. Ray lives in Florida.
Yeah.
Have you known him all the time?
No, I met him.
Where'd you meet him?
At the church.
You all right?
After going to a 10,000 rigmarole for this, they got him in the game. After being a combat veteran, he said he had to be eligible before he could in jail.
Boy, it's something different. Hey, Ray.
One day he called me and he said, I thought you were going to bring your wife to Florida to visit me.
I know.
You will never I'll just tell you.
Well, tell me what.
I'll just tell you won't have anything bad.
Okay. I got this out to show you, and they can show you this other one. Yeah.
John.
Woodrow told me that just this spring. They never did find out his name. No, and there was a woman come back through there hunting for his grave that she promised his mother that she'd come back, and they didn't even nobody know what her name was. He was traveling.
Your mom found you?
Peggy's one.
She was up there.
Oh, Pete, I hope I've seen you get your teeth sold. Cut his teeth.
I do good with that. I can't eat anything alone.
I got mine.
They're pretty good. You can go to
What they
Virginia.
cost you?
Huh?
How much you gonna cost you?
Oh, you can go to Virginia and have a whole set made for $150.
Really? Yeah.
I had this plate made, and I could have got it for about $80, but I had the gold, and it cost me $180 something. This plate in Virginia, and they guarantee
I'm gonna
you.
order me some of that.
Keith the Chase's friend said they couldn't make that till over $27 if they could. All
They tried to repair it. Put them out back and mailed them up there tonight. And she mailed them to me, but she said I
Timmy,
wanted to
don't
beat
forget
them.
I'm not very
But
pretty.
anyhow, I did.
There's
I
what,
fixed
man?
it, sent them back.
What do you know?
Say it again.
She wore them for 5 years.
You know who about it.
His grandma.
I didn't. I
What'd you do
didn't. I
for
just
the order warranty?
No, I went bought that
Aunt Ma,
apartment.
Polly Mommy.
What a good-looking crowd.
Hey, why don't most of you cheer this gang up so Timmy can get you on this swimmy diddle here? Yeah. Hey, Faye, if y'all would, could all...
Maybe you snap one on this. You can do this one hand. That's all. That's all.
Boys, in the picture?
Well, there's two girls over there.
Hey, y'all get in this. Come on. He just wants everybody to cheer. Come on, Malcolm. Eva. Y'all come on, we're gonna get everybody to cheer. You want to stand right here with me? You want to get in on this thing? Turn around and get with the camera. Okay. Right here, Peggy. Hey. Follow in there, Peggy. Over there. Come on, everybody grand. Are y'all ready? Come on. Come on. I'm on. Remember that rascal you was doing? You got anything to say? Yeah, I'd like to say that. Come on. That's his daughter.
No, pass his friend on.
Lloyd, did you get in it? You and your wife? Now you
I got 19 grandchildren.
Oh no. That's awful. How's that? That hurts me. Timmy? Take one of my beloved wife over there. Sylvia, on your right. Take one of my Aunt Jenny. Pose, Jenny. Okay, now we're crazy.
I'll take it off now.
Look how shy.
I think you want to see now.
I'm a Jane. How do you keep such a time?
Well, I told you, I really didn't mean to get tan. I've just been out in the sun a lot. I go down to my daughter's in Jefferson County. It's a real hot place there. And so we're out hanging up clothes and out with the
Look, big bus was sitting there eating. You never did get full.
What you got just watching for a while?
Told the truth for one
Their feet was smart and he stand behind praying with them.
He's smart.
Thank you.
Can I go under this thing? You know what I'd be doing if I was at home? I'd be on my way to church.
Yeah, well, I was too all the time. I left 10 minutes ago. Takes me hours. Tell it.
You know, you tell.
Well, no, tell it. Talk loud so we can get done here.
Well, her boyfriend come take her one afternoon.
Talk louder.
They're riding horseback, and Aunt Ma's horse was tied at a bank like, and she went out on the bank and went to get on the horse and jumped clear over him, lit on the ground on the other side. Your granny.
Tell about what you seen at Mommy Legg going up the path.
Huh?
You remember the story you told us about going to Mommy Legg?
I saw a gorilla man in the woods about 2 o'clock in the night, and I had no light, and nobody with me or anything.
Finish it. What did he look like?
Huh?
What did he look like?
Looked to be about 7 foot tall, about 3 foot wide, and his hands was about that long, and it's down below his knees. I saw him plain in the woods about 2 o'clock in the night when I was going to take care of Mommy.
What'd you do when you seen him?
Well, I stood there, and I was going up the mountain. I was there at that old beech tree, and something coming down the mountain. I waited to see what it was. I thought it was somebody. And this big thing come down the mountain and just throwed its feet on like throwing brakes on, and just stopped. And I looked up at it, and it was at night. But you know, if you're out in the night and get accustomed to light, to the night, you can see anything. It must have been 7 foot tall, and I could tell it had stubby looking hair on it. I was just about that close, far away from it, and had great long hands come down below its knees, and just stood there. I kept looking up at it, and I tried to say, "Are you somebody?" And I went, and when no voice had come out of me, I never could ask if it was anybody. And I got so I could move. I couldn't move. I got so I could move, and I went past him, long steps going, whoo, and I got about 3 foot from him now, run Peter Rabbit up that mountain going on me. It was a gorilla man or ape man. I saw him plain.
Remember the story you told about the witch or something years ago? Where
On the river about near Charleston, West Virginia, same thing. See, it could travel through the mountains. It could travel fast, too.
Tell Chase, tell us a story. Any kind. We just want to get him on tape.
Paul wants you to tell a story of some kind.
Oh. Well, what would you like me to tell, Paul?
And talk loud.
Talk loud? Well, let's see, I wish I could think of a story to tell. Oh, what can I tell, Jenny? What did she tell? Ask me some kind of a story that I could tell. About the time that Gene and Ralph and me were hoeing corn. Oh, yeah, we're up in the, you remember where the cane field was up on the mountain on Horseshoe?
Well, that's over all for hoeing the cane. Now, my mother had picked a big lunch for us. We had fried chicken and biscuits and cornbread, buttermilk, and all. We had buried the milk in the ground, you know. So we keep cold, and about noon when we start eating lunch, Ralph and Buster got into an argument. No, they started jumping. Who could jump the farther? Well, Gene and I were eating our lunch, eating that fried chicken. After a while, Ralph and Buster kept on arguing, and they said, I jumped more than you did. Buster said, no, you didn't, Ralph. Ralph said, I'm telling you, we're going to measure. So they measured for the heel mark, and they kept on, one word on another. Finally, they got into a fight. So Ralph takes a hoe and breaks it over Buster's head like that. He said, now I know who won the jump. He said, now I want you to understand, you know. And Gene and I was about there eating chicken, just laughing at him, you know. That really happened, Paul. Now you were out there on Horseshoe, we used to make molasses, weren't you? Or syrup? Yeah, Madge, you remember that, don't you?
Huh?
You remember we used to make syrup on a horseshoe? You know, we grind the cane, how the mule would go around like that, grinding that grinding the cane on a one, with a one horse turning mill.
They take the cane and feed through the mill.
You shove the cane into the wheel.
Two great big things of ground.
Yeah.
Chase, you know, I looked at them close. One of them things turned one way and the other turned the other. And where the cane went between them.
Get Dot in there.
They take that juice. They take that cane juice and put it way up in the molasses pan and boil it.
Hey, Dot, just tell your experience over the mountain, Bruce, what you thought of your trip. No, I mean on the tape, about what we went over the mountain last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
If the wheels went one way and one day, it wouldn't go through. The wheels had to go the same way. The wheels had to turn like this.
It brought the cane through it.
That's right. The cane came through. The roller came in like that. See?
Right.
And when
It's
you
full of
put your
cane
hand
through.
like that, this is a roller. Put your hand in there.
I know.
And like that, you squeeze the cane. The juice comes out down below there. You understand?
My dad used to make syrup, I know.
Your dad makes syrup?
Sure.
What did you call it?
Sorghum.
Sorghum?
Sorghum. We grew
You
sorghum.
ever call them molasses?
No. Ours wasn't molasses.
Well, there is, I think
They are
molasses and sorghum the same thing. I'm not sure.
Sorghum is darker.
What's the difference in sorghum and molasses?
There's a lot of difference.
Well, I don't know what it is. They're both made from cane.
There's a sugar cane and there's a corn cane. And there's, ours was sorghum.
Well, I know there's a corn liquor. I've heard of corn liquor.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
I imagine you tasted some of that.
No, I think I have, yeah. We used to make it up in did you ever make whiskey, Paul? we used to make it, you know, and I'll tell you what you do. You get your corn, or you could take cracked corn, or you could use meal, or even grits. You could pour that into I'll say a big churn,
A fat.
maybe about 10 pounds of meal or corn, and you put about 10 or 15 pounds of sugar in that, and you put your yeast with that, stir it up good, set it where it'll be a good warm place, and let it ferment for about a week or 10 days, and it turns, it'll turn real milky looking. And then you could even drink the mash. You take a few swigs of it, boy, it'll warm you right on down to your toes. Then after you get it worked off real good, I mean, you put that on the stove, and you start boiling it. You have a copper tube that goes through the water, and it the vapor comes up into the tube, and it comes down to this water, and as it drips through, it cools it, and drips off over there in the other container. It's alcohol. That's about probably 50 proof, and you put the same liquid back into the pot and boil it again. And the more time you boil it, well, the stronger it becomes. And then they call that double twist, you know. And it'll really knock you for a loop if you take a few swigs of that. And when you pour it into your glass,
I've helped make moonshine.
it looks like water. It just clear as a it's a crystal. It has bubbles, your little bubbles like you see on wine or when you pour beer into a glass, how the foam will come up on top. That's the way the little bubbles gets in that alcohol. And you look at it like that, the more the bubbles are, the more nearly pure alcohol it is. Take a swig of that, like it almost takes your breath. Have you ever heard that before?
I hadn't heard that story before.
You have made
water. I helped make moonshine whiskey.
Did you ever make any?
That drops, that worm thing that whiskey comes through, it's steam.
But I can't
It
hear
just
it.
drops you.
How do you make home brew?
Make home brew. Well, you take, it's according how much you want to make. Chase has said it many times, I've helped him. You take your sugar, yeast, and malt. You have to have malt. Set it all together in warm water according to how much you want. And about 15 days, it works off from the Chase. About 15 days.
She's talking about homebrew.
Homebrew.
I've helped her make moonshine
Did you ever
whiskey.
make homebrew?
She said she used to help you.
She did, that's true. Yeah, we did used to make homebrew. Have you ever made homebrew?
No.
Did Homer ever make it?
Nope.
You never made homebrew? Did you ever, Paul? Did you ever bake? Oh, they're not listening. Anyhow.
Did you ever make homebrew, Peggy?
You know how you make it?
Daddy made it. We drank it.
Well, you ever heard of malt and hops?
I know what homebrew
Your daddy
is.
made that when we got
I
in
know
it.
what it is.
Got
I just
drunk.
never made it.
I can't hear you.
Well,
One of my friends.
Oh my God.
They were from North Georgia.
No. Peppermint schnapps. And he opened it in the car, and on the way home he kept saying, take another drink. And it was so good that I didn't realize what it was doing to me. So when I got home, I got out of the car and my knees buckled. And I sat there at a tree, and that's all I remember. I just sat down and leaned up against an oak tree, and I guess I must have passed out. But I almost drank the whole bottle.
we done a pretty bit of walking today, didn't we?
Did you say
You want to stay?
that dreamer or
I'll
somebody
take you
come down
wherever
there
you want to
visiting?
go.
Boom, Ramses. Me or you? The man best able to rule Egypt will follow me. Well, that's my father's. Not my son's. I shall follow you. Shall you?
I'll see you on.
Tell her.
Do not let ambition shave your prince's lock. I sent Moses to his father's city and returned